Hello, Hank. First chat. How's it going? I'm not sure what I'm going to do today. We'll probably start off with modding. I don't know how much I'm actually going to get done because, I mean, 1.18's out officially. I kind of want to really play. So, we'll see how far I get. I just woke up. Yeah, I've been up for a while. Last night, I went out to spur of the moment see the Super Mario Brothers movie. I don't know what people's like. I've heard so many things where they're like, "Oh, it was so bad. Oh, I fell asleep." I love that movie. It was hilarious. There were like so many, if you played the franchise, there were like so many things from the games that you're like, "Oh, that's from Mario 64. That's from Mario Odyssey. That's from, Paper Mario." Like all of it. It was awesome. Awesome. Good story. Mm. I was worried about Donkey Kong because I hate that Seth Rogen guy. His voice is just it's like nails on a chalkboard. And maybe it's not just the voice. I think he is just not funny at all, and he tries too hard, and it's cringy more than funny. So I'm like, ugh, he's gonna be Donkey Kong. I remember when he did the when he was like Pumbaa, right? For the Lion that remake of the Lion King movie, and I did not like that at all. But it was good because they made Donkey Kong kind of a show off. So you already like, I was okay that it was his voice because I'm like, you know what, this makes sense. I can I can get behind this. Here, I'm gonna rebuild. So off stream, I have been working on the new model, the new base model, and I think I went overboard on it. I think it may be too busy. Um, but we shall see. We will see right now. But I think it may be too busy. Famous last words, right? But I do have a pretty good idea. I'll show you. I'll show you. First things first, let's get the old VLC media player up. Let's get some music going. Current playlist is empty. All right. If I must, I should probably just save this playlist, if I'm being honest with myself. Because every time I go into stream music, although doing it this way, it does allow me to pick and choose the songs that I want. And we will do, you know what, a little Super Mario World in there. Copy. There we go. All right. Now I got a little music here. Although it's being weird, I'm not able to. Ah, there we go. It's weird. I gotta like open up each folder for it to play. That's dumb. All right. So zoomed in view, right? So this is the mock machine here. So my thought is when you have just the chassis, it's going to be just the front seat. All of the back is going to be empty. And I have like the little, so you just have to imagine all of this gone, right? It's going to be just an empty chassis. There is going to be this divider here. And then there is going to be, let me just take this out. And then there's going to be like this socket right here. So the idea is that I want you to see what the module is. So in this case, right, it's the flying. Oh yeah, and I made the model for this as well. It's right there. So the assembly, I used Fey runes. So this actually reads out Darter. So this would be the Darter. Started watching RIPD on Netflix, and it's really bad. I don't even know what that is. Oh, you got some ads. Darn ads. I guess I'll wait a little bit here. I'll do /time set day. Oh, I know what I could be doing. We are going to save and leave. And I need to get the legit version of this game. So we're building it against the real version. All right, vintage story.at. Let's go to the client area. Sign in. Full installer, why not? Damn, this game's getting big. Friskin, hey, how are you doing? I am doing quite well. My nose is a little itchy. I did a bunch of cleaning this morning, and I'm allergic to our animals, and it kicked up a lot of dust and dander, so that's fun. That's fun. On top of that, today I finally get the arm for my new microphone, my Blue Yeti. So the goal is I may not have to wear a headset all the time, or at least I can remove this dongle. You notice I fidget with it a lot. Mine too, yeah. Allergies are bad. I have an appointment to see an allergist today at 3 p.m. So I got time. I got time. But we'll be pursuing the allergy shots, so I'm not allergic to dogs and cats anymore. Or at least to mitigate it, right? Right now, I'm waiting to, I realized that 1.18 is completely out. I'm still on the release candidate here, so I'm going to just do a quick install of the real deal. And then rebuild everything. So you get to see what happens when you update, you know, with the mod environment. Yes, get rid of the older version of Vintage Story, please. Next, next, next. Eva Blue, Yeti Caster, Yeti plus Compass plus Radius 3. I got the Radius 3. You know, the funny thing is, I bought this. I thought it was like the whole arm assembly, everything. And I opened it up and I'm like, uh-oh. So I ordered the, I don't know, it may be the same setup as you. Is the Compass the arm part that like you could like swivel, like that cool looking recommended arm part that goes with the Radius 3 and the Blue Yeti? So if that's the case, we'll have the same setup, because I looked at that arm and I'm like, wow, that looks cool, I'll buy it. This was just before April, and it's arriving today. Like, it took so long to get it. So this thing has been sitting here on my desk, just waiting. There we go. So we're on 1.18 stable. So what I like to do, we're going to shut down. Really, the only thing you have to do is right-click on your main solutions right up here. And I like to just build it again. Make sure it goes through everything. And if you see that everything succeeds, there's nothing else you have to do. If you see there are failures, it's going to be within your mods. That means that when you updated this right here, your VS Mod Launcher, something changed in the game, maybe a method that you were referring to, or how you're putting in variables in your method or anything. So at that point, you would pursue those fixes to fix for that version of the game. But since it came up fine, which I had a feeling it would, I already converted everything from 1.17 to 1.18, so from the release candidate, you know, to the full stable version, there wasn't going to be anything crazy. There we go. Turn that music down a little bit. All right, so since everything's rebuilt, let's get back in the game. And I will explain my awesome idea, and I'll also show you how I'm doing the model as well. Because there, you know, again, there are a lot of ways people are doing this stuff. All I could do is just show my way. So we'll also pull up the model creator. And we'll see if the stream's more stable. I reinstalled Streamlabs OBS. Seems like it's okay. I don't know, but we'll see. But also a lot of streamers, from what I'm understanding, are having random drops, so... we'll load into the game first, so I can continue. Again, I think maybe the model is too busy. So again, right, you'll have the empty chassis. Let's make it full screen. That's kind of cool how I noticed, I don't know. I don't know why there's just little blotches here. I don't know, maybe some kind of change. But you could see all this stuff down here are all the parts that I made that I'm kind of piecing, or that I brought in and modified, and I'm piecing together. So the idea is if you have the darter, this is going to be the darter. You don't have a back seat anymore. Instead, you expand the engines and everything. There are no animations yet. And then this is the back. This is always going to be there no matter... Well, I guess it does matter what version. But, this is the darter version. I tried to, just kind of add a lot of gadgetry, doohickeys. Whatever you socket, like whatever your module is, will show up in the back here. I thought that was a neat little feature as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it, though, because... I mean, look at it, right? Like, it's kind of covered by everything. It would be different if I kind of got rid of the top here, and then it's like you could kind of see it through glass. But I really like how this looks, this engine. I don't know. I really like this. And then this would show up as well when you socket. So basically, it's just a chassis. You're going to put in this module, and then, like, everything else materializes around your chassis to turn it into that. Is the new lore, based on the type, the mode of transportation, and the runes, kind of reaches out into the rift. And then, of course, this is the old flying. I still need to make thrusters. We need to import animations correctly. But this is kind of what I worked on here. It should fly. Yep. I don't know. I think it looks cool. What I'm trying to do is minimize the animations that I have to have. Right now, there are no moving parts here. But there really shouldn't be any moving parts regardless, right? Because, I mean, if you look at the engine, right, it's just, capacitors don't twist or rotate. You got a bunch of coils and stuff. So I'm trying to get away from needing animations. Just to make it easier on myself. I have no idea where I'm going to put the chest, though. I don't know. But, and of course, this is the, the speeds, right? The native speeds. Boop. But yeah. I'll show you how I did the model. I like to have one model for everything. So I started off with the basic, right? Let's make this full screen. There we go. Shift this over. So this is my current model. Let me get things set up here. I have a lot of folders here. So like what you're seeing, right, these are all my stock parts, and I can just kind of hide them when I need to. If we zoom in here, the assemblies, right, so this is the whole, like, darter engine part, the add-on. So, again, right, I would put that in, and then I would have the seat that I have underneath. When everything's said and done, that's going to be in the same position. So basically what I want to do is I want to have a main file where, like, everything overlays on top of each other. And then what I can do is I can just remove certain things, right? Like I'll have this is the main chassis. So if I hide, like, everything else here, and let's hide flying, ground, sea, move, right? So this is the base chassis. There's not going to be anything special with it. It's going to have just the one seat, right? Like, it doesn't move, doesn't do anything. And then, right, you'll add the flying. So, but what I can do is I can just kind of merge everything. So I can make a new model, delete everything out, right? Make a new model, call it machine type, flying. And that way I can kind of have everything overlapped. I don't really need to do any guesswork, because flying would be something like this if I didn't do it that way. Where's the other one? There. Like that. This may be the flying darter, for instance. Maybe with some kind of rift-like thruster that we're going to make probably today. So trying to position that exactly where you need it over the chassis, it's going to be a guessing game. But at least having the foundation there, right, I can just kind of select and unselect as I go. That is the thought. Anyways. So, what we're going to do is... Oh, God, what do we want to do? Compass is where the Blue Yeti is hanging. The stock proof. It's the compass and connected to the arm. Sent an image. Okay, let me pull up Discord. You sent it to me through Discord, Friskin? Yes, you did. Oh, Frisk. Yeah, I got the same thing. Okay, so yeah, that's the compass. That's the arm that I bought. That took forever. Yep, I got it. No, I got your message here. No, I have that same. So I guess it's called the compass. But yeah, I got that same one. I looked at it and I'm like, wow, that looks pretty good. I might as well just buy that, right? If I'm already paying for everything else, might as well just get the whole set. I bought it one go. See, I didn't pay attention. I thought this, because like the Radius 3, I thought it had the arm as well. But, you know, that's called the compass, right? But it's because I quickly looked at the pictures, because when I was going to buy the microphone part, it had that as like one of those like paired offers. I didn't see like all three things. So I clicked on it and I look at it. I'm like, oh yeah, look, see, because it's got the arm. That's my microphone. Yep, that's that. Bought it, and as soon as I got the package, I saw the size, and I'm like, wow, either they are incredibly awesome at packaging this stuff, the most efficient, like, I don't know. The mic sits in the stock-proof compass. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. It was my mistake. It was my mistake, but it's coming today, so I'll be able to migrate over to that eventually. What I was thinking, I had the idea. Let's pull up... Let's look at one of my old models here. I'm going to open up a new model creator. That way we can look at things side by side. Because I have an idea. I like the idea of a thruster, right? Thrusters are pretty neat. I do not like the execution of how I did the thrusters, right? Everything's kind of trying to think of the word I want to use. Everything is like charcoal based, right? Combustion engine based, and I want this to be in tune with like the theme of the game. So instead of having like a combustion engine, what I want to do is I want to thin it down, right? Because it's this big cylinder now. I want to thin it down. I want to thin the sides so it looks more like a ring. And then I want to put some rift, coloring like inside of that ring. And then what I want to do is have particles, like rift particles that spawn on the inside. Maybe I can make them go in like little circles, or maybe it's just from a center point and it's just bigger particles. That way, that would be the path, right? You'll be able to see it's on because you'll see the particle energy of the rift in the new rift thrusters. I can pipe, like that. That's why I made these little lines here. Because I figure I could kind of pipe those, kind of intricately through, where the thrusters are. So I think that is what we are going to work on first. The flying machine is going to be probably the first pass, the first model that I finalize. I don't know what people think about like what I did here. If this is too busy, like should this all sit higher, maybe? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is to me. If I feel like it's hollow, right? There's like empty space there. But if everything sat up higher, maybe, it would maybe look better. I don't know. But, it doesn't, I don't know. I don't think it looks bad necessarily. Oh, I never did the texture for those bars. I'll have to do that too. All right, so let's do some modeling. Let's just try and make a new thruster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click save. Actually, here we go. Save that. We're going to do an import. I'm going to import my old flying machine. There we go. I can get rid of the license plate. So really, it's just this move all. I'll say old flying, so I know. So if I undo all of this, we'll move the stock parts to use down. This is my old model. And this is the old thruster here. So I think I'm going to just copy the thruster itself, and then we're going to modify it. I want this to be on the other end as well. I want this to be thinner, like a thinner line. And, you know, again, have it be like a ring. Get rid of all that mechanical stuff. See, this, I like this one a little bit more because it does sit higher. I feel like it's, you know, it's got a little, but it pushed out too far, so it felt very back heavy to me. But all right, so let's start doing things. I'm going to copy this. I think I did a pretty good job. Yeah, this entire thing is the thruster. We have the propeller on the inside. I'm not going to have propellers this time. So I'm just going to move all of this. There we go. So we're just looking at the thruster. We got a lot to do. A lot to do. First things first. I don't like how I did this. This is all inverse to what I would, what my idea was. Because if I try and minimize it, it goes there. But what if I move the orientation? No, the position. Oh, okay, never mind. I can maybe, no, it didn't do what I thought it would. Right? Because if I do this and then this, yeah, it's doing it weird. That sucks. All right, so I'm going to just take this inner ring then. Aw, man, I didn't even do it in a way that would make sense. I'm so disappointed. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to start just pruning out this. Delete, delete, delete. And what is all this? Oh, actually, that ring may be more what I'm looking for. Let's get rid of some of this. I'm not going to delete this stuff yet. I'm just going to hide stuff. Right, so start off with a ring. Now, what I can do with this ring is duplicate it. And then we can set it back 1. I have to, you know what we could do? Instead of setting it back 1, we're going to set it forward 1. This is set weird. Oh shit, I wasn't even moving the whole thing. Ah. There we go. We'll move this 1, 2, maybe make this 0.5. 0.55. 5.4, 3, 2. So 2 is there. 1 is there. I'd say that's pretty good. I don't really see the seam anymore. So we won't get any weird Z fighting there. I'm just going to save what I did. When you use the model creator, you want to make sure you save a lot. It seems like what happens is as you make changes, like eventually it becomes too much for Java, and then you get those crashes. I've been burned too many times. All right, now what I'm going to go through and do is kind of I will fix the origin on all of this, and then we're gonna start angling it and offsetting it, and then we'll prune it back and see how I want the ring, because I want a cavity in the ring, because I want to put the strips of the rusty glow metal in there. Can you import a model from Blender, or do you need to use the blocks? I've never tried to import a model from Blender. I don't think you can. I've tried to import models from Blockbench. It fails. I've never got it to work. I've also tried to take a JSON model from this and import it into Blockbench when I was doing Minecraft modding. Completely fails. At least that says it imports it, but it doesn't actually import anything. It's silly. The position should be 0.51. Ooh, okay. Good. Good. I'm just double checking all of my pivot points. Oh, so it was just the one I had to fix. Nice. Nice. Alright, I like this. Okay, now let's start doing angles. I don't think I can do what I want to do. Let's try it. Yep, can't do it. I have to unstack all of these. So what I'm going to do is minimize this. I'm going to create a new cube. Underscore, I'll do ring curve. I'm going to make it an empty box. I'm going to migrate this over here. And we are going to undo this. Okay, so for ring curve, you save the model as .obj. No, I don't. These are JSON models. The default is JSON. So I'll show you here. So right here in the shapes, entities, machines, we'll look at like the ground. So this is what it exports. It's all, and this is also your animations. Like if I scroll all the way to the bottom, right? The powered on animations, right? When my propellers would spin and, you know, all that stuff. This is the other propeller spin animation. But yeah, this is what the default export is. There you can support OBJ files, but I mean, there are no guides for that. I don't know how to, you know, like I would get better at Blender if there was an easy way to like, oh yeah, this is how you use these models. Do this, do that, bam, you can get it in. But the model creator, you could create some good things with it, especially when you get comfortable with it. As you will see today. So for all of this, I'm going to want to rotate the red and the negative, right? There we go. Just a slight curve is really all I want for this. Why does this not look right? Oh, sugar snaps. Shit. I realize what I did. This is going to be annoying. So, what happens is, if you're already rotating at an angle, you can't just add another rotation to it. Like it, maybe unless I center it, maybe that is going to be the way we get this to work. In which case, I have to move the offset. See, if I do that, it messes it up completely. All right, so when you run into a problem like this, I found that there is a solution that's not exactly easy, but we are going to, we're going to do it. So what I like to do is create a new temporary cube. Doesn't matter what the cube is. I get rid of the cube itself so I can only see the pivot point. And what I'll do is something like this, right? 45-degree angle. This is all zeroed out. It's important to make sure your rotations are zeroed. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this and then stack it into this. This is like a temporary cube, right? So it keeps all of the old stuff. It will recalculate based on like what you nested into, so it does the math for you. So now all I have to do is come here. I have to set the origins, right, to be exactly what it is here. So what we'll do is do a paste, copy, paste, and this is why I said it's not exactly. It takes a little more time. It's not the easiest, right? So the origin points are the same. So now what I could do is, this would be where I would go ahead and do some kind of rotate. So for this, it would be a rotation of this and I believe this. No, it's not quite doing it right. Oh, it's because it's angled. It's at an angle. Shoot. Yeah. You know what I could do? I'm going to hide this. I'm going to hide all of these weird angles. I'll come back to them, because I don't even know if this is an idea that is going to work. So I'm going to zero this out. I can show you on this, right? So we got our 90-degree angle here. See how all this, I rotated all weirdly. This should be 90. There we go. So if I try to rotate this here, see, it's going to be all kind of janky because it should be on the red rotation. If I try and do it here, it's not quite doing it right because it already has a 90. So what I'm going to do is come back to here. We're going to zero these back out because I want to just rotate this. So I'm going to take this block. I'm going to nest it in my temporary cube. And now what I could do is just simply rotate it, you know, the same angle, right? The 22.3. So now it just did it right away. If we look at the seam, that is spot on. And the way you could do is you could just take it out and see it recalculated all three angles for me right here. So then I'd come back into here, right, because I want to reuse this, so I zero it back out. And now I want to rotate this one. This is going to be a tricky one, right? Not anymore. You don't have to sit there with the calculator and be like, well, I have to know X, Y, Z angling, and if I angle this and it becomes a, trigonometry, calculus problem. See, with this, I just have to make sure the origin is the same. So -4 here. And here's this one. Paste that in, see origin's the same. Now all I have to do is rotate it in the right direction, and then I can unstack it, did all the math for me. So just a little trick for modeling. Same thing with this, right? I got to come into here. You got to make sure you zero it out first here, because if you zero it out after you stack it, it ruins what you had set up here. Because, like, the child inherits from the parent. So let's set our... So that's -1.12. I'm just going to type this in, 1.12. There we go. So that is correct. Now we have to rotate it on the blue. There we go. So we got this. What I can do now, we're going to unstack that. I'm going to zero this back out because I will use it again. I don't like how long this is. I'm going to try and make it half the size. Oh, you know what? Let's make it at just a 1. I don't know if I like that. I like that better. Right, because I got the ring. And what I could do here, instead of having it just be solid, I can put a tube, like, connecting each empty spot here to make it pop a little more. That looks pretty good. And then I can have the inner ring. Maybe in the ring, like, for whatever the bottom of the thruster or something, I could maybe have, like, where is it? Something like that. What is this meant to be? This is meant to be the replacement for my thick thrusters. my combustion thrusters that don't really go well with the game. Those thick things, you know, which was like black hollow, had the little fire inside. I'm trying to make something new that goes along with the theme of the Rust kind of theme. So this is the chassis so far. I don't know if you just got in. So this is the darter version. So what you see where it used to be the back seat, oh, ran out of fuel. Yeah, what you see, this used to be where the back seat was. Now what's going to happen is the darter, it's going to have this extra engine in there. I may end up shifting this up a little bit, all the engine, and then the back engine, right? So this is going to be there if it's a carrier, right? If it's a carrier, the seat will go here. You'll have the engine in the back, and then you'll see visually like, oh, that's why it goes slower, right? It has less rift engines in it. But for the flying machine, oh, and you can see this is the item in here. It actually sockets. I don't know if I'm going to keep that. It's kind of hidden, and I don't like that it's hidden. I may, you know what? I may end up putting something like, I may end up putting the mounting for that item right here. That way you could clearly see it in the back. Not sure. But yeah, so I still like the idea of having some kind of engine on the side, right? Something has to propel you. And since I'm moving away from having like coal, charcoal, you know, like combustion engine kind of machine to a rift kind of machine, I want, you know, like the space age like ring, you know, like, you know, with the maybe particles inside. It looks damn amazing already compared to the old one. Yeah, I've been trying to work on it. I don't know, like I spent a lot, like I'm kind of worried there's too much detail here, but I think it looks cool. But this is like, you know, every darter version of the machines, they're all going to have this engine in common, right? So I'm making different different models that I'm going to mix and match, basically. So that's what we're working on here. Is we're working on a thinner, more attractive and combustion, not non-combustion engine. So far, this is what we have. I'm going to put some rings in there. I would say it has enough detail. As in VS, there are things that are even more detailed. Yeah, I was looking at some of the stuff. I mean, that's where I got inspiration from. Yeah, right over here. You know, putting out some of the things like this. This is pretty detailed. So, yeah, I can, you know, it with like the animations, like some of the animations, like some things move, but you know, it's, I don't know. You know, like all these different parts here. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to use like parts that people would be familiar with in my engines. But yep, that's what we're doing for a little bit anyways, till I get bored of doing this. And then we may actually play the game, right? Call me crazy. All right, so ring curve. What I can do here, I'm pretty sure these parts I don't want or don't need. Maybe. Maybe. You know what? What if I do something... What if I make something thin like that, huh? No, I don't like that. I'm just going to delete them. All the hidden parts. That's my empty cube still. I will keep that. I don't like that there's a seam there. Why is there a seam? Oh, it's because of the position? Yeah, that sucks. The position on all of this can be adjusted. There we go. All right, that looks pretty good. So what I can do here is duplicate this. I can rotate the entire thing. We will fix origin before I do that. Mm, 30.5, so that's pretty good. Yeah, that's all I need. Now I can rotate the entire thing 180 degrees. And now I will have to offset it just so. Now let's shift it over. Whoops. just like that. Look at that. That's pretty darn good. I don't like that it's a little janked here. There we go. That did it. All right, so let's start. We should decorate the outside of the ring. As a modder being satisfied with his creation and actually playing it, that's some sorcery right there. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's looking good. Like I have an idea of what I want it to look like. You know, this is just the creation stage of it. We'll get there. So I think I want to focus on the inner ring. I want something on the outside, and then I also want something on the inside, like a ring on the inside. What's the best way to do this? I think I know the best way to do this. All right, so I'm going to minimize some of this stuff. This is the ring we care about. So I'm going to duplicate this ring. And then what you can do is, I'm going to save before doing this because this could crash. I'm going to resize the element. I'm going to resize it by a very little bit. 9.5. Apply. See, now I have a smaller, slightly smaller version of my ring. So it's going to be like a ring in a ring. And now all I have to do is shift this over ever so slightly. Because I want it to sit inside. You know what? I need to make the ring smaller. So I'm going to undo all of these moves. See how it's starting to lag out a little bit? Yeah, like an ionic thruster is what I'm thinking about. See, like I did undo. And is it gonna undo? There we go. So it's starting to freak out a little bit, so I'm gonna do a quick save. Come on. I just want to get to the stage like before I shrunk it down. So I'm thinking I will make it 75% the size. I hate when Vintage Story Model Creator crashes in the middle of work. I've lost so many things too. It's ridiculous. But you notice, right, how you get some lag. I find if you save often, it not only if it crashes, right, you'll have more of your work saved, but I noticed that it prevents some of the stuff, right? So now I'm back at this point. Let's undo that. So I'm back on this cylinder. We'll go back to tools, resize elements. I'm gonna make this 75%. There we go. I'm gonna do a quick save. I want a ring in a ring. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That actually looks pretty darn good. All right, so let's shifting the position up. You know what? This does not look pretty darn good. I shrunk it way too much. Way too much. But you know what? I'm not going to get rid of this ring. I'm going to center it. Because now I'm thinking, because it would be nice if there was like a thruster direction. So why can't I have one bigger ring and then one smaller ring, right? And then have it to where maybe the smaller ring rotates or something. I can still have the main ring that I'm thinking of, but this could be, you know, I could use this, I think. So we will do this, right? So it's kind of centered in there. And for now, I'm just going to hide this. I'm going to rename it. Test smaller ring. I'm going to delete all of this. And I'll do 75%. There we go. And we're just going to hide that. All right. Take 4. So I'm going to duplicate this again, We'll go into projects, resize elements. So that was way too aggressive, right? What if I do just a 90%? 0.9. I can already tell that's going to be too aggressive, right? Yeah. So instead of 90%, we'll do 95. Maybe 95 worked. Maybe I just need to center it right. That 95. You know what? I think that's going to work. All right, so I just need to shift this over, right? Then shift this just like that. That's looking pretty good. You notice here, I did 95%. It's not quite, the top's just a little more than the bottom. I could do a half like that, or what I could have done is undid this and did it at 96%, and it would have evened it out. But I could just do a 0.5% too. We have a whole other decimal point we can make use of. For me personally, I don't even get the lag, it just crashes. But yeah, there's a screenshot of homemade ionic thruster from YouTube in the channel. I have not touched particles, but one could make small enough particles that ones would not kill the performance. Yeah, so yeah, you could do particles. What you want to do is, so you don't have as much of an impact on performance, I can show you. We'll close that out. It's going to be... Actually, I think I have it mountable. Oh, which method is it? No. Maybe it was further up. This, on async particles tick. So basically, what the problem is, mainly when you do particles, is that if there's a particle, like sending packets so the particle spawns in the same place each time, you can get some lag depending on your particles. But if you do async, what happens is you're saying, the server's telling the client, particles should spawn in this area, but it's up to you to fill in those calculations. So like, we could be looking at a fire, right? And we all don't have to be looking at the same fire. We just need to have smoke particles generate and the flame particles generate within whatever the bounds are, and then have those particles do whatever they need to do. But the server doesn't have to process every tick, right? So you're taking the load off the server and just saying to the client, hey, you know what? Take care of this fire. This spawn fire is supposed to have the smoke here, have fun with it. So you all technically see fire particles, but you're not seeing the same identical in the identical spot particles, right? Now, if you were doing something like, maybe if you wanted to draw a rune or something, then you would have to have client server packet for particles, right? To where it spawns in the same place for everyone at the same orientation. But you know, I don't see a need to do something like that. But yeah, this right here would help you out. And I actually already have this in because when my machines are in water and like the splash particles, you know, it's up to the client to draw it. I'm just saying, yeah, it's within this. You're getting randoms anyways. Server doesn't need to be let in on it. So have at it. Boop. All right. Let's go back to our little thruster. See, I like that. What we are going to do is the voxel size for all of this. We are going to trim it down a little bit. Am I doing it right? I feel like I'm not. Okay, yeah. Because I want a thin line in there. Right, so we thinned out the line. Whoops. We're going to move it all over. There we go. Kind of embed it a little bit. Going to make this full screen. Wow, that may actually be just about center right there. Now, I may have to shift this when I'm looking at the model. But now if we kind of combine it all, right, like this is going to have its certain texture. And then we put the ring curves back on, right? So now we're starting to get an idea of what it's going to look like here. We're going to have these curves inward. We're going to have this kind of circling around. What I want to do is maybe create another circle. It's a little annoying sometimes to kind of move things depending on like how far in and out you're zoomed. I think I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to start looking at it from this side so I have more camera control. There we go. So I'm thinking this ring, I should duplicate this ring, I'm thinking. So I'll show you my idea here. So again, I get the ring. We are going to push it out a little bit. That's too far. We're going to push it back in. I mean, I could just leave that like that. Zoom in. Yeah, see, this is what I'm looking at here. I'm going to push it out a little bit. Maybe something like this. Oops. Let's make this 25. Let's make it a 27. 28. Yeah, 28 would just about do it. So I have a gap there. I want a gap. I want it to feel light. And what I can do is I'm gonna unstack that, hide that, because I want to keep these until I know I don't need them. So where's this one? Okay, unstack that, unstack, hide that. Yeah, I have a lot of unstacking to do. I should just unstack all of it. Damn it, I hate when I do that. There we go. So I want to keep all the angles, hide that one. So I should have 4, and I don't. So I hit something I wasn't supposed to. Probably that. There we go. Right, so we have to kind of visualize. This will be probably metal. This part will also be metal. This part could be the frame, the connecting frame. I would like to have some kind of wood, so I think I'll have like little panels on the outside of the metal where it's going to be the wood. The idea is when you texture, I want as much of your texture appearance preference to be on every part of the machine, including the thrusters. I think that looks pretty good, actually. We gotta hide that bottom one. Oh, it's what everything is nested in. So we're gonna create a new cube. I'm gonna make it an empty cube. I will call this underscore outside ring 1. And I'm gonna unstack everything. There we go. Now I can hide that. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this because we are going to do it on the same side on the other side. All right, so now... Actually, what does it look like if I did that? Instead of like the inset ring, I kind of like that a little more. So you'll have like the smooth outer ring, you'll have a gap, right? And then it kind of connects into this, right? And this other ring. So you'll have the gap, you'll have that inner line. Oh, that looks kind of neat. I have a feeling, though, this ring should be, if I'm going to do that, this ring should be smaller. because there's a little overlap. Oh, God, I hate doing the angles here. See, if it was smaller, it may line up with the tips more, and you wouldn't get this kind of like going in and then spreading out. If I shrink this by 90%, like the main ring by 90% and make a new one, it would fit really, really well. So we're gonna do that. Tools, resize. We will do a 90% sizing. Or you know what? Better yet, we can test. I think since I like this ring already, we'll duplicate the smaller ring, and then I will just resize that. It's gonna be more than 90% if I do 90, so I don't know. We'll see. Right, shift it up, shift it down, shift it over this way. We'll kind of center it, and then we'll pull it forward. Just like that. All right, let's hide the ring here. See, that was too aggressive with the sizing. That was way too aggressive. So if I had done like 90%, you know what? Let's do tools, resize. Why not? Let's do a 1.1. We'll have to eyeball it. If I shift it down, so we're getting there. Tools. You know, instead of doing that, we'll undo. So 1.1 was a little too aggressive. Oh no, did it crash? Save. Okay. Resize. My menu wasn't coming up. I got scared there. 0.5. Oh, that we're getting closer. So it's between 5 and 10. Resize. Let's do a .75. Halfway. Oh, shoot. File, tools. Uh-oh, it's lagging again. Resize. 1 point... not 7.5. 0.7 will do. All right, I think that's going to be good. We're going to back it on up. I got to shift it over. Right, just enough. Got to shift it down a little bit. Whoops, down. Nope. Down. Whoops. Oh, wait. There we go. Down a little more. All right, see, I have less of a lip now. I have to shift this over. Whoops. Just a little lip. Little lip. Let's check the other side. That way the gap is a little better here. Working on a mod pack. Do I have... I do have a small question. Does current version work with 1.18? Current version of my machines mod? It does not. Actually, I don't know. I don't think it does. I don't think it does. I don't know. It may. I'm not sure. So much has changed since I started this. Like, I rewrote everything. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. So this ring was a failure. I like this outer ring more. So we are going to duplicate this. We're going to pump it on back. Oh, look at that. Boom. Perfect. Whole number math. I love it. And remember, this is the inner ring that's going to have the rift stuff in it. This is pretty good. So far, okay, let me think here. This outer... We'll mess with the textures. I kind of like this. We're going to create panels here, and that will be probably the wood or the panel. It's a panel, right? But it defaults to the wood texture. So I'm going to duplicate the cylinder again. We are going to prune out things that we do not need. Like this can go. Basically, I have to unstack everything. Oops. Boop. Boop. Okay, anything that's the angle, I don't want. Or do I? Do I want it? Should I have the panel in just 4 places? No, yeah. Okay, I have an idea. The panels are going to be on the sides, like a plus sign or like an X. You know what? They're going to be on the longer side here. All right, so I can get rid of that. Get rid of that. Keep that. Get rid of that. Keep that. Get rid of that. All right, so now what I can do is we're going to offset this a little bit. I'm going to decrease here. I'm going to decrease here. Wow, that is way too much of a decrease. Let's just make this here. You know, why am I starting with that one? I should start with this one, the easier one. Did update to .NET 7 makes things easier for modders or harder in a way, or didn't change at all. I'm not sure what it's going to really do for modders. I think there will be more libraries available to modders, so I guess technically it would be something that modders could benefit from. I think the main benefit's going to be with .NET 7. You know, you got your libraries, right? But there's going to be more stability, I think, in the overall game. You know, because things like your rendering engine and everything else and how you're doing it, you know, you got your limitation. It's like going from Windows XP, right? That may have a maximum memory of like 8 gigs or 12, or you know what I mean? Or, you know, think of like 32 to 64-bit. You know, this is what your old maximums were, and then this is what the new maximums are. You know, just a better engine, improvements. And it's a huge jump. Currently, we are on, I think, 4.6.1 is what the game's built against. Let's take a quick look here. Applications. Yeah, 4.6.1 is what the game is currently on. So, I mean, that's a big jump, right? But it's not enough to where, like, I honestly could care less about it. You know, that's just my preference. Like, I don't see the direct benefit. There may be some big benefit, and I end up changing my tune, but I doubt it. All right, 1. Let's bump it out 1. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's bump it up 1, 2.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm doing is I'm just making an accent panel pretty much. Yeah, that looks pretty good. You know what I could probably do is I could probably make the panel, get rid of that, right? And then I can duplicate this, and I should be able to just, whoops, push it backwards, right? Till it just bumps out like the other side. You know, something like that. That looks pretty good. Let's do the top. So same measurements, right? So that's going to be 3. That's going to be 0. So what did I do? Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did 1, 2.5. And then I bumped it up 1. Do I not have a bottom panel? Oh, that is the bottom panel. I'm going to 0 this out. I'm just going to use this as an anchor. Underscore. There we go. All right, so I could take the top. I'm going to duplicate it. Again, I'm going to shift it in the downward direction. That is too aggressive. There we go. So that's going to be the wooden panel. We made something pretty good here. I'm going to save this. I'm going to stack it all, and then I'm going to delete the old model I have, and then we're going to bring it into the game and see what it looks like. And then, well, if it looks like there's no jank in the model itself, then we will retexture each part, and I'll show you how I do that as well. As soon as I'm done with this, you know, like a decent model, I think the 1.18 version of this mod is going to be ready. I'll probably have flying machines in first, but then I'll start doing the modding tutorial series that I had in mind, which should be fun. Should be good. Oh, by the way, question about on ModDB, I personally would like option to be able to privately lock my machines, especially on a public server. That is in the game already. So it's definitely something here. So what you could do, right? As it sits right now, you can't interact with anything. But you see, you cannot drive this machine. This machine is locked and you are not the owner. I have this as a locked machine. So if I add one of the modules, see, it opens up the locking system. Now I can unlock it, right? And if I unlock it, I can mount in it. As soon as I go right-click the ignition key, right? You would become the owner. I have to fix this part of it. And then what you could do is you could come into it, put your key in, right? So you could give someone a key to your machine. They can put the key in, and then they would be able to mount inside of it. Again, I don't have the keys fixed yet, but yeah, you can lock your machine. See, like I own this machine. See, it's unlocked. I could just get in it. But if I didn't want anyone to get in it, you know, I'd be able to put a module in, you know, lock it, right? And there we go. Did something happen to the stream? Stream disconnected.